Hey guys, what's up? It's Katie and I'm back with another Marvel Contest of Champions video, and it is Top 5 Thursday, and today we are going to be talking about the top 5 science champs that Kabam should add in 2021. So for like the other videos that I've done similar to this, what we're going to do is we're going to talk a little bit about the character and who they are in the Marvel comics, and then what powers and abilities I think they should transfer over into Mcoc. Now remember, this is just my opinion on who I think should be added, but I would love to hear who you guys think should be added in the science class for 2021. So let's go ahead and get this countdown started with the #1 spot, shall we? And the #1 spot goes to Morbius. Now, once Michael Morbius was a world-renowned biochemist, but he was dying from an unknown blood disease and he was desperately searching for the cure. Now, he took part in an experiment to cure his disease once and for all. And this procedure involved using the biochemistry of vampire bats and electroshock therapy. And well, the procedure worked. Sort of. It got rid of his blood disease, but the side effects turned him into a makeshift vampire. So, basically it turned him into a vampire-like being, so his skin turned white, his teeth grew into fangs, and well, he became quote-unquote the living vampire. Now, he doesn't possess the powers that, you know, normal natural vampires like Dracula have, but he does have some similar ones. So he would be a fun champ to add into the game. Now, while he would have a great regen factor, it wouldn't be near the level of someone like OG Wolverines or Dracula, but that's a separate video. Now, he could also take reduced damage from bleed and poison, meaning that if you run willpower, you'll heal. And so also what I think would be kind of cool too is whenever Morbius bites his opponent, he places a fatigue and an exhaustion debuff on them. So I think that would be how I would make Morbius. So Kabam, let's do this. #2 on the countdown goes to the most wanted science champ on the Mcoc wishlist poll on Ranker, and that goes to Sandman. So William Baker, aka Flint Marko, started off as a small-time criminal and was actually sent to Rikers Island, where he later escaped. Now, he fled to a nuclear testing site on the beach, or excuse me, kind of near Savannah, Georgia. I wonder if it was the Savannah River site. Anyway, I digress. Where he came into contact with sand that had been irradiated by an experimental reactor. Now, his body and the radioactive sand actually bonded together and changed his molecular structure into sand. Now, impressed with what happened to himself, he named himself Sandman. Well, that and after his new powers too. Now, I think Sandman could be a very unique character to have into the game. I mean, I think Kabam is at its stages in development where it could totally do something like this. Now, he could play similar to Mr. Fantastic, I think, and he could be immune to bleed and poison, but since he is technically made of sand, he should take an increased damage from Incinerate. And I think he should also be pretty tanky, you know, having a high health pool and a high physical resistance to him. #3 on the countdown goes to Mr. Negative. So Mr. Negative is kind of an interesting character. If you guys have played the Spider-Man game or read the comics, you know all about Mr. Negative. But Mr. Negative is basically, he's a man that would later become known as Martin Lee and Mr. Negative, basically the same in one. So he was basically a smuggler of Chinese people into the United States. So when his ship became grounded on a sandbar, or shipwrecked, or whatever you want to call it, on a sandbar, he was actually the only one to survive the swim to shore because, well, he wasn't half beaten, he wasn't half starved, and the only way he was able to get and swim over and make it in okay was because he took the papers from one of the dead smuggled in Chinese immigrants known as Martin Lee. So that's how he came up with the name Martin Lee. Now, when the call went out that their ship had run aground and he had made a call to his associates, he couldn't figure out why his associates didn't come and save him. But he found out when he went to their lair. I don't really want to call it a lair, but that's totally what I'm gonna call it. They were all dead, and he just walked into a magia takeover of the operation. So he was actually taken alive and used for human experimentation of a new drug. So, and that's how he got his powers and became gained the persona Mr. Negative. So basically what Mr. Negative can do, one of the cool things is that he can change the biology of any living creature. I mean, he basically is the reason for the creation of anti-venom. If you guys know about that or not, well, check out the top 5 cosmic for 2021. Now, he could have a lot of really cool mechanics in this game. I think it would be neat if he had the ability to basically remove ability accuracy. I think that would be cool. He could definitely have some power stings. He could shrug off degen. He could actually be one of the best degen counters in the game. And then he could also have this cool synergy with his teammates. So basically he has the synergy with himself, but it allows him to heal his teammates. So think of like Apocalypse. When Apocalypse is awakened and isn't fighting, only that goes towards your teammates. So say he has to win like 2 fights in order for you to do that. I think that would be a really cool mechanic to add into the game and give Mr. Negative here a little bit of something extra. Number 4 on the countdown goes to Blue Marvel. Now, Adam Brashear was a young man who served his country as a U.S. Marine. Now, he discovered that he had superpowers and he fashioned a secret identity known as Blue Marvel. Now, actually, how he gained his powers is kind of cool. They're a result of being mutated by radiation from then an unusable event horizon in the negative zone. So Blue Marvel is actually the first antimatter generator and reactor. So basically the source of his power is the energy released from antimatter. So it's actually kind of cool. And this guy is super, super powerful. So he could basically be like a concussion god. So his basic attacks would place passive concussion on his opponent, and all of his attacks would be energy based. Now his specials could consist of bolts that stun his opponents, and his energy punches could shatter even the toughest armor, and he would have a high physical resistance due to the energy shields he can create. I mean, Kabam could take it that way, or basically they could make him the science Aegon, because this guy could have the potential to be that way, especially how he is in the comics. So I would love if Kabam were to add Blue Marvel to the game to make him Aegon version 2.0, but make him better, because he would be so much better than Aegon, and I would love that so much. Number 5 on the countdown goes to Weapon H. So Weapon H is a discharged ex-soldier by the name of Clayton who was sold to the Weapon X program and was experimented on as a part of the Batch H division that was focused on creating hybrid mutant-killing cyborgs using both Hulk and Wolverine DNA. So could this be the Hulk and Wolverine that we deserve? I absolutely think so. I mean, unless you make Wolverine a horseman, he's really lacking. And well, listen, I'm not even gonna get into the Hulks, okay? Like, I'm not gonna do it. But Weapon H could have all of the good qualities of both that we want and that we deserve from Wolverine and from the Hulk. I mean, he could have crit bleeds, he could have regen, and he could have some massive damage without synergies required. I mean, this could be the champion of, you know, this could be the form of the Hulk and the Wolverine that we all know and love and that we deserve, because I really think Kabam could do it, or at least I hope they would do it with Weapon H. And what's a countdown without an honorable mention? And this week's honorable mention goes to Jessica Jones. And listen, I know what you're thinking. Jessica Jones is already in the game files, and that's why she's this week's honorable mention. She's been in the game files for so long. It's time for Kabam just to add her into the game. Now, obviously, Jessica Jones would be a heavy hitter, and she could even potentially have some durability charges similar to how Red Guardian works. Maybe she's another one of those champs who just doesn't gain buffs. I would really like to see that. I think we're in more need of champs who don't gain buffs like Red Guardian, and I think Jessica Jones would be the one to do it. But anyways, guys, that is it for this week's top 5 Science Champs that I would like to see Kabam added in 2021. But what do you guys think? What Science Champs would you like to see added to the game in 2021, and what powers and abilities would they have? Do you think I matched these champs up with their powers and abilities in the game, or could I have missed something? Let me know in the comments below and let's discuss. As always, guys, thanks so much for watching, and enjoy this quick word from Kevin Smith.
Hey man, it's me, Kevin Smith, and if you enjoyed the mediocre MCOC video full of scrub gameplay, then show Katy some love by hitting like and subscribe, man. Katy don't ask for much. Katy did ask for this. Katy did. So do like Katy did and bug people and get you to like and subscribe, man. She's doing that MCOC beautifully. Not mediocre. Katy!